right here. At home. Protect your out. We put the work in. Let's finish. Come on, man. Let's do this. Family, I'm doing 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
You see, we dream chase, because that's all we was given to start with. Then we realized the dream was obtainable. Now look at us.
What's going on, Eagles Nation and TMTP family? Welcome back to another episode here on the Main Thing Podcast Presents. It's your boy, Mr. Owens, and after further review, the call stands. I'm still official with no stripes.
What's going on, Eagles family? This is your man, Big Huss, the one you trust, bringing you all your Philadelphia Eagles latest. And look, man, we got one of them games, Saturday football. You know what I'm saying? Something a little different. Division on the line, history on the table, a chance to clinch the NFC East back-to-back for the first time in damn near over 20 years or close to 20 years. You know, This isn't just the Eagles versus Commanders game. This is identity football. Now, you know, per usual, me and Mr. Owens have to break it down. Hey, what can Washington do where they're vulnerable? How can the Eagles win the game that matters? Hey, not just for this season, but in a historical setting. Yeah, I mean, and what this team needs to look like heading into January. But per usual, before we get into that, you already know Mr. Owens wants to holler at you real quick.
You already know, Big Huss. Thank you all for tapping back in with the Main Thing Podcast Presents. It is truly appreciated. To our loyal supporters, thank you, thank you, thank you. Y'all know it's all love. The Main Thing Podcast Presents can't happen without the support from y'all. And to our new supporters, welcome to the community and our family. Let's continue to do our part for the community and our family. Please continue to like the videos. It does help with the visibility in the algorithm. Disrespect that comment section. Share and subscribe to the community and our content. And last but not least, don't forget to do this. Make sure to turn on them noties and keep your ears and eyes peeled to the streets like your local neighborhood. Watch, so you don't miss when me and Big Huss drop this pressure on y'all.
So, man, let's talk big picture first, right? Why does this game matter? With the win, the Eagles can clinch the NFC East. Go and lock that up, get that up out of there, right? That will mark the first back-to-back division title since the 2004 season. Look, on that team, you had McNabb. We all know how nice McNabb was, right? B. Westbrook, man, Westbrook.
That boy.
The Screen King, come on, man. T.O., Terrell Owens, that Jim Johnson defense. A team that knew who they were, right? Now let's kind of bring it back to present day. This 2025 Eagles team. This is a team trying to find a level of clarity, get back to that true identity, right? So this game is just about identity, physicality, discipline, and stacking wins the right way. Now, look, the eye test doesn't always matter, but right now for the Eagles, it matters as we start heading towards the playoffs. You want to find your rhythm and find your mojo. And hey, the Commanders are a team worth beating up on and getting back on your horse with. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, bro. You already know how we got a couple folks down in the DMV. We all too familiar with the DMV. So we got a lot of Mandos fans popping junk. They was talking ever since last year. Talking about, oh, we the new kings in the NFC East. We gonna knock y'all out. Look, for y'all high haters, look, we're back in a position that we're very familiar with. You see what I'm saying? We ain't new to this. We are definitely true to this. All right. Everything runs through Philly. We're used to this. And it's so crazy, Huss, that you brought up the 04 team with McNabb, Westbrook, T.O. That's the team we have Freddie Mitchell, Todd Pinkston, Chad Lewis, who unfortunately broke his foot in that NFC Championship game versus the Falcons. Who else? Hank Fraley, Trey Thomas, Artis Hicks. Yeah, it was a couple. Jermaine Mayberry, John Runyon. And then
It was a squad.
But see that offense where that 2004 offense, they had some explosiveness, but they don't match what this 2025 offense does in Philly.
And mainly talking the receiver position.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The O-line was solid. Tight end, Chad Lewis, solid tight end. Obviously, I'm going to put Dallas Goedert over him, but a solid tight end. Run game, Westbrook. It's just, you're McNabb. You get under center. You look to your left. You look to your right. You
see 87.
Yeah.
84.
Hey, Freddie out here doing this. You like, oh, this isn't a good sign. I don't like it.
Even though he did come up big with that 4th and 26 joint against the Packers.
He did.
He definitely did. But that was also too when Chad Lewis broke his foot. That's when LJ Smith came in. LJ Smith was like that.
Yeah. Look, history of good tight ends here. This isn't just a recent thing. We've been putting out some good tight ends over the years. Past 20 years. What?
Yes.
Come on, man.
And real quick, because before we dive deep into this, even when you said the Jim Johnson defense, this just brought back some memories, bro, because we see our 2025 defense right now and what they have been doing in this 2025 campaign and how dominant and elite they had been. But I was looking, I'm like, man, we had Javon Curse on that defense, bro, because you remember we got him from the Titans. And then we had Corey Simon, Darwin Walker, Derek Burgess at linebacker, Mark Seminu at linebacker, Jeremiah Trott Sr. At linebacker, Dhani, remember Dhani Jones?
Yep. Played with the Giants for a little bit.
Yeah, he used to hit the little. And then we had Lito Sheldon at corner, B-Dawk at safety, and then I think it was it Quentin McHale or was it Michael Lewis?
I think that was safety? Michael Lewis.
Michael Lewis, right?
2004.
Yeah, matter of fact, it was Michael Lewis. But from us saying all that, supporters and family, man, they had a lot of Pro Bowlers on that team.
Hey,
and
Hall of Famers.
Hall of Famers, bro. Because like I just looked it up real quick. Our Pro Bowlers because was McNabb, Westbrook, T.O., Trey Thomas, Jeremiah Trotter, Lito Shepherd, Brian Dawkins, Michael Lewis, David Akers, and Ike Reese. WIP's own Ike Reese. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Pro Bowlers on that 04 team.
That's crazy.
10. But when you look back at it and you look at it now in the totality, this 2025 team is way better than that 2004 team.
Hey, and younger.
Yes. much younger. Like you said, and that 2004 team went 13-3.
Come on, man.
That speaks a lot, but we all know what happened in the big game. McNabb, dry heathen throwing 3 picks.
Ache in my heart.
Yeah, sell the one over LJ Smith. Oh my gosh, man. Okay, but enough living in the past. We got to focus on the present and the now. So let's talk about the Washington offense versus the Eagles defense. All right. So if you all have not already known, Washington officially shut down their franchise quarterback, Jaden Daniels. So old familiar friend gets a start against us, and that's Marcus Mariota. All right. So we got to be real with y'all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. We know that Jaden Daniels is more explosive when it comes to Washington's offense, but Marcus Mariota is more aggressive. Okay. The drop off is real in the talent level, but it's not that massive difference. Okay. So what stays the same in Cliff Kingsbury's offense? They still run a lot of shotgun heavy looks. They run a lot of RPO based formations, but their scheme tends to feel outdated. All right. One thing we have to keep in mind is Marcus Mariota can still move and get out of harm's way. He's been doing it since he was at Oregon and won the Heisman Trophy there. So what we have to do is make sure that we contain and be disciplined. That is going to be critical, as well as knowing our rush lanes and assignments. When we collapse that pocket, make sure that we keep Marcus Mariota in the pocket and finish.
Absolutely.
Get him down. Let's continue to build off of our defensive efforts that we have been given over these past few weeks. All right. But we all know the Eagles have struggled with mobile quarterbacks. So we have, again, to remain disciplined. All right. But Their receiving core is Terry McLaurin. He still is that guy down there in Washington. He still is a vertical threat and can stretch any defense. He is very elite after the catch, gaining a lot of yak yards after the catch, and still has that savvy route runner in him. All right. So this is where things get interesting, almost like C. Montgomery Burns on The Simpsons. Excellent. All right. We got Quinyon Mitchell versus Scary Terry. All right. This matchup matters. Why I'm looking so hard at this matchup, because we all know what Scary Terry has done since he's been in the league out of Ohio State. But we have a rising top 5 shutdown corner in Quinyon Mitchell, who's in his second season. Last year, we saw what he did against Scary Terry, literally erased Scary Terry from whatever game plan that Washington had, then ended it with the you see what I'm saying? So this is going to be a matchup to watch, because if he can neutralize Scary Terry, the Washington Commanders do not have a lot of passing options outside of him. But they also did get Deebo Samuel from the San Francisco 49ers in this offseason. We know how Deebo is utilized. He's utilized heavy out of the slot. He manufactures touches. So whether it's getting him in the screen game, whether it's getting him on end arounds, quick games, things like that, they want to just get the ball into his hands in the open field and make a defender miss so Deebo can do the rest. But he is not a great separator. We heard in the offseason when BG said, we ain't worried about Washington. Deebo got to knock a few pounds off. You see what I'm saying? So I guess Deebo took it to heart, try and get in shape. But that is another matchup that I'm going to be on the lookout for, is Cooper DeJean, our second-year corner out of Iowa, and how he handles, if not the best slot corner in the league. And back in the day, I probably would have been like, man, the old Deebo back in his prime with San Fran, that's going to be a little matchup. But I feel like at their points in their careers right now, Coop can definitely handle his own in the slot against Deebo, and I feel he can neutralize him as well. And unfortunately, we all know Eagle legend Zach Ertz suffered a torn ACL and is out for the rest of the season. We hope and wish a speedy recovery to you from the Main Thing Podcast presents Zach Ertz. But without him, the middle of the field is less threatening. I know they have like Ben Sinnott as one of their John Bates or whatever his name is. They're not Zach Ertz. Okay. So again, the middle of the field, let's take care of that, because they don't really have any offense going through there without Zach Ertz. Also, their red zone offense does take a hit without Zach Ertz. We know all too well about him in Philadelphia, and we get inside those 20s, how he can be a mismatch for any defense. But
you got to look at it. Zach Ertz has been a security blanket for whether it's been Mariota or it's been Jaden
Daniels, correct?
He's been the chain mover, the consistent guy that they look to when they need a play. So know him. It's going to force Mariota to go somewhere else, and we'll see how advantageous that is for them. I'm not banking on it, but we'll see how that goes.
That's a very good point, because without Zach Ertz, again, he is going to have to force and go to somewhere else. But when you look at their pass catchers, it's really no threatening options. Their only threatening options are are Scary and possibly Deebo. But we have two young dogs who can go toe-to-toe with them. So it's going to be hard for them. And we all know if you put a little pressure on Mariota and make him throw from the pocket, he'll give you some. Some of his balls sail. Some of his balls are thrown behind. You see what I'm saying? But just continue putting that pressure on him, and he will give us some turnovers. But their offensive line is normally solid, but it won't be tomorrow evening when we face off versus the Washington Commanders. Officially out is their left tackle, Larry Tunsil, who they acquired from the Houston Texans this offseason. That is massive, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Larry Tunsil is easily a top 10, top 15 left tackle type talent. So in his place, they'll start Brandon Coleman at left tackle, who last year he was the original left tackle until they got Larry Tunsil. But then they also got Josh Connolly Jr. at right tackle, their rookie out of Oregon. Why that plays a part is because on the edges, that's where we win. That's where we got Jalen Phillips, Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt. BG sometimes when they put BG out there, and it's big and pivotal because Brandon Coleman is only in his second year. Josh Connolly Jr. is a rookie, so we have to take advantage of the inexperience on the outside for the Washington Commanders. This is where our Philadelphia Eagles need to attack. Okay, Josh Connolly has struggled all season. He is a penalty merchant. They have massive pass protection issues down in Washington. All right. So what is the bottom line that you're asking us? Okay. If we do our job and win on the early downs, win on first down and win on second down and force Washington in third and long situations, it's over, because the only way that the Washington Commanders offense typically works is when they stay ahead of the sticks and stay on schedule. But from what we've seen, they've been having a lot of trouble staying ahead of the sticks. So we need to capitalize off of that and make them one-dimensional and just really set the tone and impose our will on Washington.
And that's what it all boils down to, imposing our will on them, right? Being the more physical team. So Mr. Owens kind of gave you a breakdown of the passing game. Let's talk about the running game real quick. Not a lot there, right? But that is the foundation of this Commanders offense. They're one of the most run-heavy teams in the league. The QB mobility is baked into everything, whether that's Jaden Daniels extending plays or Mariota. And then they also have the design QB runs. And look, we all know Mariota's an older quarterback, but the legs are still there. They're still very much a threat. So then you go to the backfield. Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt, a.k.a. Bill, right?
I like him.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. This young rookie, he's a solid running back. Got some opportunities after there was a few injuries in the backfield. And honestly, the young man hasn't looked back. More burst, more upside, great vision, great balance. He's not the biggest back, but my man knows how to play the game of football, right? Then you also they do have a bigger back, and Chris Rodriguez. Chris Rodriguez is more your hammer. This is a guy who went to Kentucky, had a really good career there, went to the Redskins, was kind of the Commanders, kind of trying to find his footing, and it's kind of done so, right? Because then Bill got hurt. They inserted Rodriguez, and he was effective, right? Reliable, limited in creativity, because this guy is more so a power back. He doesn't give you a lot of options via the pass game, and it's not a home run threat, but those tough yards. What's the running back that they had from Alabama? Brian Johnson?
Brian Robinson. The Niners now.
With the Niners now. More of the Brian Robinson mode. Not as big, but a similar style runner. Then they also have Jeremy McNichols, who honestly has gave them a spark when inserted into the offense. Now he is a threat, whether it be via the pass game or the run game. Hasn't had a lot of yardage this year, but 41 touches this season as a third running back. That's a fair amount. That's a fair amount of carries. He's averaging over 5 yards a clip when inserted, and they need a spark and they need some yards. Jeremy McNichols, the vet, has come up big, right? So a lot of reasons why this offense works. Cliff Kingsbury's scheme. Look, man, he's an offensive guru. That's what he does.
It's Texas Tech.
Yeah, for real. He's just the offensive wizard for real. You know, they use a lot of motion to try to gain leverages, whether it be on the edges or just confuse your backfield on passing downs. The QB run threat, once again, whether it be a QB design run or the off-schedule runs, the QB run is very much a part of this Commanders offense. And Mariota, like I said, he still has those legs. But here's the key. This is not a physically dominant run team. They're not just bowing through you, right? They're scheming their runs up. Kind of how we want KP to do for us. That's kind of how they're doing it with the Commanders. They're scheming the run up because they don't have a Saquon Barkley, or Christian McCaffrey, or one of these top end running backs, but they find a way to get the yardage when needed. But if the Eagles could shut down the run early, as Mr. Owens, make it those third and long, those second and longs, the Commanders' passing attack, they won't have the answers. They're not explosive enough through the passing game where they can overcome the third and longs and second and longs. So we have to keep them out of manageable down in distance, pretty much.
And to add on to your point, because with the motion, that's just eye discipline over on our side of the football.
Absolutely.
That window dressing, that's all Cliff Kingsbury does. Get everybody to look one way and run the opposite way. We have to be disciplined on that side of the football. And with that being said, now we're going to switch gears over to the Washington defense versus our Philadelphia Eagles offense. Now, family, this defense that Washington is fielding, it's just like the Raiders, all right? It's one of the worst units in the NFL, as well as their uniforms too. All right, they're old, slow, and structurally broken on that side of the football. I believe they demoted the one bull who was like, yeah, if QB1 wants to run, we're going to hit him. Joe, what is his name?
I can't remember. I know exactly
yes, what Joe Witt Jr. or something like that. They demoted him. They got a new defensive play caller over there, but obviously that new change hasn't progressed to much. But their pass defense, the linebackers, Bobby Wagner, he is a OG originally with the Seattle Seahawks. He is still very smart and a valuable piece in the middle of that defense. He knows Dan Quinn's defense in and out from his time back in Seattle, but he is a big liability in coverage. And that's where we got to lick our fingers, because Dallas Goedert can do work in the middle of the field versus Bobby Wagner. Then they got Frankie Louvu. All right. He blitzes a lot. He does a very good job of blitzing and getting home. But also he struggles in space. We remember him last year. He thought he was in the circus, kept going over the line, trying to stop the tush push. He did it about 11 times. I don't know how many times. Then it got to the point where we play football. I don't know how many years between us total, but
never heard that rule.
Never heard that rule, bro. And like they said, my man, you do it one more time, bro. We throwing flags. That's what we going to do. All right. But Frankie Louvu, again, like we said, he is in space. He struggles a lot. And that is a big advantage for us, because we like to get our playmakers in space with the football to make plays. But you know what this screams? This screams under center play action, because when you got play action and a run is working, what happens? The quarterback turns his back to the defenders. So that usually typically sucks up the linebackers. And then what do the linebackers have to do? Turn their back to the football. So they don't know where the passing concepts and the routes and everything are going, especially Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner. So we have to make sure that we get back under center and establish that run game to open up play action. Let's again attack the intermediate middle of the field. They have been vulnerable in the middle of the field. We've been doing a better job of getting the routes and our concepts and things in the middle of the field, whether that be Dallas Goedert, whether that be Arthur Ron K, whether that be Smitty. Maybe Jahan Dotson might get a little busy against his former team. We don't know. Okay. But we got to make Frankie Louvu, Bobby Wagner, and the other linebackers on the Washington Commanders choose. And once they choose and they read and react slow, they're going to snooze and lose. Okay. But in their secondary, Marshawn Lattimore, who they traded for last season from the New Orleans Saints, he's out. Okay. He had his little beef with Arthur Juan K. We know who won that battle. Also, they got rookie Trey Amos out of Mississippi. He's out. Okay. So they have young corners. They have Mikey Sanders still, who we do like, but I think they had Jonathan Jones, who came in for Marshawn Lattimore. They are young corners, so we need to expose them. We have all pros on this side of the football. We have top 5 and top 10 talent on this side of the football, so we have to be aggressive and go at this unit. They play a lot of cover one. For y'all that don't know what cover one is, that's just simple mano y mano, man on man, okay? They play single high safety and leave the outside corners isolated. That spells a recipe for success, again, with the players that we have on this side of the football. That is finger licking good barbecue chicken. Get the grill out, get the apron out, man. Get your favorite bevy out. Look, we gonna make a feast over here, all right? But the pass rush for the Washington Commanders, it is almost non-existent. They can't win with this a 4-man rush. So what does that mean? If you can't win with a 4-man rush, you got to bring extra defenders So that leaves people vulnerable on the back end when you have to bring extra defenders. Okay. The blitz does not compensate for the lack of defense that they have in Washington. So what we can expect out of that is clean pockets for QB1, on time and on rhythm throws to Arthur Juan, K, Devontae, Slim Reaper Smith, Dallas Goddard, and then a controlled aggression. Let's not get out of hand. Okay, let's not force the ball into places that it shouldn't go and things like that. Let's be aggressive, but let's be smart as well in our decision making while we're being aggressive.
Absolutely. And like you said, with that cover one, we're gonna get a lot of the same looks that we got from the Lions, right? So just like last week, let's continue to implement the crossing routes and make these defenders chase. It worked to our benefit last week. Sometimes you might get like maybe a catch and run or something to that effect, but incorporate the crossers into the offense this week, especially with the one-on-ones. We're going to get our down the field shots, right? And I expect us to take those and make those, but implement the crossing routes, right? So he just talked about passing game, right? Let's talk about the run defense or lack thereof. So the Commanders are giving up 136 rushing yards per game.
Ooh-wee.
Right. That's food right there. That's food right there. Poor run fits, missed tackles, soft interior play. Not something that you would really expect from a Dan Quinn defense. But it's the type of year that they're having between the injuries and young players having to come up, older players being inserted who might be past their prime. They're vulnerable. I got to be honest with you. Javon Kinlaw, who was once a dog player with the 49ers, ineffective. He can't anchor, right? Put them big hog mollies on him and wash them down. Open these lanes up. Truly dominate in the trenches like we're used to seeing the Philadelphia Eagles do, right? This has to be a Saquon Barkley game, a Tank Bigsby game, right? I want to see heavy doses of both of those guys. Stick with the run game. This is our identity game. Our identity as Philadelphia Eagles, run the damn football and play some solid defense.
Amen.
Right? This is a week where you can get back to your identity. Right? Another sparring partner. That's what this is right here. Now, the QB runs, I love to see it, but let's not get too careless with it. Let's not overdo it, especially this week, because Frankie Luvo has been known to take some of those hits up to the edge, right? Known to be maybe a little over aggressive. And after seeing QB1 already come up a little bit gimp last week, kind of tweaked his ankle a little bit, but it was great to see him out on an injury report. That's a plus. But we don't want to put him in harm's way if we don't have to. Slide early, get out of bounds. 2, 3, maybe 4 tops QB runs. I mean, outside of just extending plays. But honestly, the QB run shouldn't be needed this week. I believe between Saquon, Tank, Will Shipley, we should have enough of a run game and a presence where the QB run shouldn't have to be implemented this week. We should see a lot of under center, as we mentioned. The under center has worked perfectly, especially when you marry it with the play action, right? A lot of downhill stuff, physical presence, wear them down. This is already a battered and bruised defense. They're limping along right now. When you see when your opponent limping along, you put them off for the count. You don't play with them. Let's go ahead and end this early. We have an opportunity to really put this game away early if we can establish the run, because everything else open up off of that.
Yes. And I agree with you 100% because on limiting the QB runs, especially with, like you said, the history that we have with the Commanders last year. They knocked QB1 out with a concussion. And then also the Commanders don't have nothing to play for. Usually when teams don't have anything to play for, they usually play a little dirty. They usually play after the whistle and things like that. We got bigger and better things that we have in our future. So let's be smart with QB1. And like you said, just give the ball to Saquon, give the ball to Tank, give the ball to Will Shipley and let them do their thing and make sure that our offensive line gets that push up front so that we can establish that run game. But the final injury report before we head into tomorrow's game, As we all know, with the Philadelphia Eagles, out is Jalen Breadman Carter. He is still recovering from his shoulders surgery on both shoulders, but he should be back soon, hopefully. But if he's not back, we need him back for the long haul. We need him back for healthy for a long playoff run. All right. But we wish him a speedy recovery. Now, Lane Johnson, he is ruled out, even though he's been teasing us on social media, things like that, act like he gonna play. We know the old vet. He can play. I'm pretty sure that he can play, but you know that the Eagles are always cautious with their players, and we have a great medical team that works with the coaches, that works with the front office, and the player themselves to make sure that we're not just throwing them out there and could risk even further injury. So for this team, we don't need Lane Johnson. Let him rest up and get ready possibly to make his debut back against the Buffalo Bills. But what does this all mean? Okay. So with Jalen Breadman Carter out, the interior rotation remains the same. So we're going to have a lot of Dosa Moro Jomo, who's been making play after play after play. Jordan Davis, who has honestly, to me, outplayed his contract and definitely needs to be resigned for next season. Byron Young, who I like. He's very feisty. He shows up. He's just to me, he's like bring your pail to work day. You bring that lunch pail. You see what I'm saying? Like he's a hard-nosed defensive tackle. Also, we got Brandon Graham on the inside and Ty Robinson. Okay. They've held up with better discipline, even with Jalen Breadman Carter being out. So when he comes back, y'all already know it's going to be scary hours out there. And with Lane Johnson not being available, would Big Hus always say, a brother from another, his brother Fred Johnson is going to start again, Big Fred, but it's familiar territory with us by now. Fred Johnson has done a remarkable job in replacing Lane Johnson, okay? But we move on to questionable. So Cameron Latu is questionable, and also Cameron Williams. Some positive news on that front is Cameron Latu is trending upward, but this is a true game time decision. And I'm interested to see if Cameron Latu is going to be able to go, because especially with us saying that we have to establish the run game, he's been in a lot of run packages and being the lead blocker. And he has done an exceptional job being that blocker, whether that be Saquon, whether that be Tank Bigsby or QB1. So hopefully Cameron Latu can go tomorrow evening. But
has shown up big on special teams. Let's not let that go underrated. Like he has really been a solid player for the limited snaps that he's in. They've all been pretty much impactful.
Very impactful. Cameron Latu, especially on kickoff coverage.
Yeah, man.
He's one of the first people that I always see down there trying to tackle the ball carrier. So that is a very valid point that you bring up, because but ready to go is Landon Dickerson. We all know that he's been battling through injury, but he is a warrior. Saquon Barkley is clear to go. Expect him to have a big game against the Commanders. Also, Tank Bigsby is good to go. Expect him to have a solid game against the Commanders' run defense as well. We got Billboard Bond or Bald Eagle Bond, whatever you want to call him. He is good to go. And then also Jalen Phillips, who has been playing very well and can make an argument about being re-signed for next season as well. He's all good to go. So we have no concerns on that front.
And then we flip to Washington's side. For Washington, it's rough out there for them. Out, Jaden Daniels, we spoke on. No Laramie Tunzel, no Eddie Goldman, no Kosa Yankoff. Questionable. Jonathan Jones, where they're already thin at cornerback. Jazon Newton, their D tackle, who we spoke, kind of up and down, splash play kind of guy. They're missing Zach Ertz, wishing him a speedy recovery. That knee injury, it looked ugly.
Gruesome, yeah.
It did. No Marshawn Lattimore, no Trey Amos, no Dorrance Armstrong, no Dietrich Wise, no Austin Eckler, no Noah Brown. This team is battered and abused. They're down. They are limping into this game. No one is available. There is no reason why this game should be a contest. None at all. This is another week, just like last week. You look at the Raiders, different records, right? But similar story right now. You don't play with your food.
Mm-hmm.
Finish your food. Get up out of it. This might be another historic game where we get done so fast, right? 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and we're up out of there. That's the type of game that this should be. This game should not be drawn out any longer than it has to be. That's all. You know what I mean? Like,
not at all. This game don't need to be drawn out, even though we know who we got next week, being the Buffalo Bills. We'll get more into that on Buffalo.
One week at a time.
Yeah, 1 week at a time. But to your point, this game does not need to be longer than what it is. Minimize the penalties, minimize the mistakes, play on schedule, play our brand of ball, and this will be easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So some keys to victory defensively. We have to win early downs, as me and Big Huss have said in this video. Set the edge, keep contained. Let's win the edge, especially with them lacking Larry Tunsil. Let's go after Brandon Coleman. Let's go after Josh Connolly Jr. They are the weak links on an already weak offensive line for the Washington Commanders. Force them into third and long situations. Make them play behind the sticks. Make them one-dimensional. We all see when a team becomes one-dimensional, we got our defensive line who's been playing lights out for the past since we got Jalen Phillips, to be honest with you. That's when the defensive line started picking up, but force them in third and long so they can pin their ears back and get after Marcus Mariota. Let's attack Josh Connolly relentlessly. I'm sorry. He gives up a lot of penalties. He holds a lot. So let's win on the edge, and then let's contain Marcus Mariota. We don't want him scrambling around and picking up back-breaking third and longs and things like that. It's 3rd and 12, and then he starts scrambling and picks up the first down. Let's make sure that we neutralize him and keep him in the pocket. But yeah, you got offensively, Big Huss.
Offensively, like we just said, commit to the run. I need to see 2, 6, and 37, and Will running all up and down this field, right? Sprinkle in some QB1 runs. The under center play action, the under center run has really helped this offense get going. Continue to stick to that. Attack the middle of the field. We've been getting better with that, attacking the middle of the field, whether it's been with the receivers or the tight ends. The middle of the field is vulnerable. When we attack it, we have success, right? And it usually comes in the form of big yardage. So let's continue to do that. Take our vertical shots versus cover one.
Have to.
Cover one is nothing but man on man on the outside with a high safety. I trust our receivers. I trust our tight ends one-on-one with damn near anybody in the league. They specialize at that, right? And then at the end of the day, it's all about protecting QB1. QB1 is the engine to it all. This is where it starts. His health is wealth, especially as we approach the playoffs. Keep him upright. Keep his jersey clean. And go take care of business, man. So the identity is physical, discipline, and efficient.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple.
It's that simple. It can all be so simple. And then let's add
So
the pain. And you already know how we do on the Main Thing Podcast presents, because it's 3 phases. We gave you the offense. We gave you the defense. We have to win special teams. I was glad that Jake Elliott got back on track last week and didn't miss any field goals. He was 100% in field goals and extra points. So we need to continue to see consistency. And not only with Jake Elliott, let's see consistency with the whole team. Offense and defense, coaching staff, everybody is included. Let's continue to do well on kickoff coverage, punt return team, kickoff return team. Let's make sure that we play a complete game. We play a complete game, this game won't be a game. It will get out of hand, okay? All right, so we'll have our backups and everything coming in. Y'all know how we roll. But these playoff scenarios, real quick, the math is simple, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. The Eagles can clinch the NFC East for the first time back-to-back since 2004 with a win, a Dallas loss, or a tie and a Dallas tie. All right, which I know we're going to win. They could clinch at least the number 3 seed with a win plus a Carolina loss or tie. The message is simple, all right? Control your destiny, stack your habits from last game versus the Raiders, And just like the famous Al Davis always says, just win, baby.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing. Just win, baby.
Just win.
Now, I guess what? You do some score predictions real quick?
Oh, you already know. We can't lead the supporters.
You already know. You already know the vibe. I guess I can start this off. So I got us going 35-7. Now, I believe the Commanders will score, whether it be on the run or the pass. Who knows? Maybe Scary Terry gets one. I wouldn't be surprised. Scary Terry's a dog, right? But I think that we will control the game for the most part from start to finish. I believe that this will be another game just like last week where you have your starters coming out, whether it be middle of the fourth, beginning of the fourth quarter, but QB1 should be sitting down come the fourth quarter. I think we control this game convincingly, 35-7, handling business.
Yes, I can't agree with you more, because if we come play our brand of football, we establish the run game, open up that passing game via play action. Our defense plays discipline and sound, rally to the football, tackle, make sure that we do everything, check all the boxes, as you always say, check every box. We will be fine versus Washington Commanders. I don't think that the Washington Commanders, even without their injuries, were on the same level as us as a football team. Now, with their injuries, they're definitely not on the same playing field as the Philadelphia Eagles. So, with Big Huss, just like Big Huss said, let's establish that run, control that clock, win the turnover battle, the small things, getting back to basics and fundamentals. I honestly don't believe that this game is going to be close at all. So I have us winning by a final score of 44-13. I think that we're going to put up a lot of touchdowns. It might be a few drives where we got to kick field goals and things like that. But then also, as you mentioned, with Scary Terry, might pop one. Debo might pop one, but I feel that they will score a touchdown, but then get some miscellaneous random chunk plays that get them into field goal range, and then they get 2 field goals. So I got us 44-13 BTA session.
Hey, the first of 2. I like that. I like that a lot.
If you like it, I love it.
Okay, look, the Eagles should win, but more importantly, they should look like a team that knows who they are and what they're out there doing. Just like that 2004 group, just like teams that make those deep January runs, those Super Bowl runs, and Hoist Lombardi, right? And defensively, as you spoke on, Q, if he can handle Scary Terry, we stop that run game, and you could clamp up Scary Terry. That's it. That's murder she wrote. They call the game right there. They don't have enough on either side of the ball to overcome a big deficit. And we just got to lock in and do what we do at the end of the day.
That's it.
That's it. Play our brand of football. That's what it boils down to.
That's what it is, man. And I feel that we are going to build off the Raiders game, come in this game, handle business as we should. And like you said, take it one game at a time. But this should be a fascinating game. We're not playing for, but we will receive the hats and t-shirt combination tomorrow. But we got bigger goals that we got to focus on. This is just another game that we got to put under our belt. But to our loyal supporters, thank you. Y'all know it's all love. The Main Thing Podcast Presents can't happen without the support from y'all. And to our new supporters, welcome to the community and our family. Let's continue to do our part for the community and our family. Please continue to like the videos. It does help with the visibility in the algorithm. Disrespect that comment section. Share and subscribe to the community and our content. And we don't got to remind y'all. We don't want to have to remind y'all, but make sure y'all turn on that notification bell, also known as the Liberty Bell looking thingy, so you don't miss when Swoop comes out with the Eagles news and updates.
Absolutely. So look, make sure you tap in with your birds tomorrow at 5. Put on your lucky hat, your lucky jersey, whatever it is, and go support your birds. And please remember to continue to support the channel. Hope everyone's having a great week. staying warm. The holidays are right around the corner,
Yes.
man. Hopefully you've been a good girl, a boy or girl, and Santa got you something good. You feel me? Nah, but hope everyone's blessed, staying safe. And if you don't know, hey, I go by Big Huss.
And I go by Mr. Owens.
And this is the Main Thing Podcast, where we keep the main thing the main thing. Hey, stay blessed, stay safe. Until next time, we out.
It was I was gonna make a lot of money doing what I wanted to do. I went after it, and it was a struggle to achieve it. But you know what? I caught that bitch. Dream chasing.